Good day, students. I welcome you all to another discussion for the subject construction materials and testing. So this will be our second lesson for the week now, and we are already on our fifth week. Okay. So for this lecture note or for this morning, now we are going to talk about the testing of wood. Okay. So wood is the second most used material for construction purposes, making of furniture, flooring, and etc. For building constructions, though the stone has taken first place, the boom of wood has increased dramatically in recent times. Wood is a natural resource that can be obtained by plants and trees. Basically, wood is a combination of different tissues like the xylem, which is a vascular tissue, phloem, and the cell walls. The vascular cambium layer, which is present inside the bark, helps to produce new wood. The properties of wood explain its behavior and how it reacts to different substances at different temperatures. These properties explain the characteristics of wood with a generalized meaning. The properties of wood may include the physical properties, chemical properties, and mechanical properties. The physical properties of wood can be defined as the characteristics of a wood that do not have any change in its size, shape, color, and etc. Okay, so for the properties of wood, now we talk first about the physical properties. The properties of wood as well as the definition of the wood, no, we have defined that one in a general note, no, dito sa atong first discussion. But this time, we will be discussing, no, and we will be talking about the properties of wood and also the test associated, no, with wood, no, in details this time. Okay, so on the physical properties, so the characteristics of wood that explain the physical features of various types of woods are nothing but the physical properties of wood. So first, physical property is the color. So as the basic use of wood is to make furniture and decor items for the house, color and appearance play a vital role in choosing a variety of wood. But the color of the wood varies from type to type. The wood is available in a wide range of colors starting from white to dark brown and etc. The color of the wood also changes with the observation. If a tree can be observed from top to bottom, it appears in some color and vice versa. Next physical property is the luster. Another physical property of wood is its luster. Luster refers to the tendency of elements with the reflection of light. After color, priority is given to the luster of the wood. Next, physical property is the odor and taste. We commonly observe different colors from different types of wood. For example, the sandalwood and the rosewood give a nice aroma, whereas the other timber woods may give some tobacco odor. Also, the new wood sample gives a fresh aroma and it keeps on degrading with time. Next, physical property is the density. Another characteristic of wood is its density. But what is the density of wood, by the way? The density of wood refers to its mass per unit volume. Based on the weight of the wood sample, the density of the wood changes. Different types of wood have different densities, of course. Below are the detailed information about the density of different types of wood. So the wood, no, or our wood, can be classified based on its density, no. So, what are those classifications? So we have the very light wood, the moderately heavy wood, and of course the heavy wood. Okay, so for if the density or the specific gravity is 36, then the wood is called very light. And if the when the density or the specific gravity is equal to 0.36, then the wood is called light. And if the density or the specific gravity is between 0.36 minus 0.05, then the wood is considered moderately heavy. Okay, so when the density or the specific gravity, or I guess it's a specific gravity, no, will exceed no 0.05 plus 0.36, then the wood is considered heavy. And the last, no, or the next physical property of wood is its hardness. Hardness refers to the strength of the wood, also the resistance or the capacity of which a wood which can stand strong for a long time after being affected by several factors. Okay, so those are the some no on the very common physical properties of wood. Okay. Next, we talk about the mechanical properties of wood. Okay, so the mechanical properties of wood can be explained as its capability to withstand externally applied forces. These include different types of properties to understand the strength, resistivity, elasticity, durability, and etc., or many more characteristics of wood. The mechanical properties of wood were further classified into two. One is strength properties and the other is elasticity properties. There are different standards available to check the strength of wood. They are ISO, or the International Standard Institution. We have ISI, the Indian Standard Institution. We have BSI, the British Standard Institution, and then PSI, na the Pakistan Standard Institution, and we also have ASTM, na the American Standard for Testing of Materials. So these are the international standards where we base no our determination of strength or even other properties of wood. Okay. So what are the mechanical properties of wood, by the way? So first mechanical property of wood is the compression property. So the compression of wood depends on the direction of applied forces like perpendicular to wood grain, compression parallel to wood grain, and compression with an angle to the wood grain rather. Okay, so kani sila ka kining tulo ka klase sa compression no na po ni sila different standard procedure and also standard practice with respect to this different classification of compression. Okay. Next mechanical property is the tension property or tensile property. So the tension is very effective on wood when it is parallel to the wood's grain. Second is the bending properties. Now, based on the load put on the wood, bending may occur. It shows the strength and stability of wood even if the load is increased in a parallel direction. So, wood is one of the most important materials used for several household and commercial purposes. The different types of physical properties and mechanical properties of wood explain the characteristics of a particular type of wood. All of these properties were generalized to all types of wood. Okay. Now we talk about no the standard that we have adapted no para sa their website in our locality or in the Philippines no on a general note. So we talk about the ASTM standard na for testing of wood. Okay, so atong mention no alongside with ASTM, we have the British standard, we have the Indian standard na we have the other standards na when it comes to testing of wood, but we really have to focus on ASTM because that is the locally adapted standard no and also the standard that are being used no as of to date nationwide. Okay, so ASTM wood standards include the terminology, standard practices, specification and testing methods for wood and wood products. Guidelines address issues in all stages of the wood making process, including harvesting lumber from forest, protecting lumber and timber from termites and fungus, testing fire retardant wood, and testing the water solubility of wood products. Primary purposes of these guidelines are the creation of construction materials and wooden poles, such as electricity poles. So manufacturer adherence to wood testing guidelines can ensure worker safety and of course quality products. So when you say ASTM standard for testing of wood, no, it is a very broad information and very broad idea, no, because it covers wide process no or even in all stages of wood making process no from the harvesting no from its harvesting from the forest no and all the kanang mga protection mga protection nga mga techniques no diha sa atong lumber against kaning mga termites and fungus of basically degradation no, and all other stages no, that the wood has to go through for it to become no one of the construction materials and also kanang mga wooden poles. Okay, so ASTM testing for wood are characterized by the following. So, natay 8 no classification sa ASTM standard for testing of wood. So, first is the fire performance of wood no. So, under fire performance of wood, natay numerous or na mga various standard nga mga procedure no under this characteristic or under this classification. Second is the ASTM standard for testing of wood, particularly for forests, no, kanang mga forest management plans. So we also have standard procedures and standard practices when it comes to those ones. Okay, next classification is the fundamental test methods and properties. So it is getting under this classification now where we'll be able to find now the standard test procedures and practices for determination of physical and mechanical properties, now especially the strength properties of our wood. Okay. Next classification is the lumber and engineered wood products. So there are also standard practices, no, and various standard procedures, particularly all about the lumber and engineered wood products. We also have test procedures, no, or standard practices for panel products, pole and pile products, and also natin mga standard practices and standard procedure no when we talk about treatments for wood products and as well as test procedures for wood assemblies. Okay, so for the sake of this presentation and for the sake of this subject now, we focus on the ASTM standard for testing of wood, particularly on fundamental test methods and properties. Okay, so there are, as what I have mentioned earlier, no, there are a lot of number of standard practices and standard procedures when we talk about fundamental test methods and properties of wood. So I'll be presenting you list no of this specific standard practice or standard procedure. Okay, so we have ASTM D143-21. That is the standard test method for small, clear specimens of timber. This one, no? We also have standard test method for static tests of lumber in structural sizes. We also have standard test method for ash in wood. We also have standard test method for preparation of extractive free wood. And also we also have for acid insoluble lining in wood. Okay. We also have standard test method for ethanol toluene solubility of wood. We also have standard method for dichloromethane solubles in wood. We also have no a standard method, a test method for 1% sodium hydroxide solubility of wood. Now we also have test methods for water solubility of wood, and we also have standard test method for methoxyl groups in wood and related materials. No, and all of the others, no? Dili na ako siya basahon tanan. Okay? Nakapagyud, no? Standard test methods for direct moisture content measurement of wood and wood-based materials. Okay? So there are a lot now when we say standard test methods for wood, specifically on the fundamental test methods and properties. Okay, so for the sake again no of this discussion and this lecture note, no, we will be talking just one of those above listed no nga mga standard practices and procedures no sa katong classification. Okay, so we talk no about ASTM D143-21 or the standard test methods for small clear specimens of timber. So ASTM D143 contains the standard test methods for testing small, clear timber specimens. The data from this test procedure no, can be used to compare the mechanical properties of various species, establish allowable stresses, and determine the influence of density, locality of growth, height, and treatment of chemicals in the on the mechanical properties. Okay, so man ang coverage no sa test procedure or sa kanang provisions under ASTM D143 with respect to the standard no for testing of wood. So this standard contains test methods for determining the various strength and elastic properties of wood through 11 different mechanical tests. First of those 11 is the static bending. We have the impact bending, the compression parallel to grain, compression perpendicular to grain, the toughness, hardness tests, shear parallel to grain test, the cleavage, the tension parallel to grain, tension perpendicular to grain, and the test no, for nail withdrawal. So these are the different no, mechanical tests that are under this standard test method. Okay, or standard test procedure, no? Okay, bali, under this one are a lot also of tests, no? So here are the recommended test machines no nga ato ang kinahanglan no as we do the ASTM D143 or basically the standard test method for small clear specimens of timber. So among all other machines no or equipment, number one on the list na of the recommended test machine is of course the universal testing machine because again as what we have discussed previously no on the recent topic no katong sa lesson 1 we talk about universal testing machine no? And then universal testing machine can perform various tests and then once we deal with wood no we also deal with both the compression test and then tensile stress and strength test and at the same time the bending no test. So universal testing machine is really a best choice no when we deal with testing of wood. Okay. And aside from the recommended test machine, we also have recommended test accessories. No, say for example, this one for the wood tensile fixture perpendicular to gauge. So this is an accessory nga ma-attach siya dito sa sa UTM. Okay, so bali if you would be conducting test no tensile determination which is perpendicular to the grain, then rest assured that we will be needing this type of fixture. The next is next on the recommended test accessories is we have the shear test fixture or the adhesive bond wood. So basically we are going to need this one no, if we are going to test on the adhesive bond of our kanang wood. So basically ano na siya engineered product na siya no kana na siya involvement sa mga various types of adhesives. Okay? So here are the references no or the sources that I have used as I make or as I made this lecture notes. Okay? So to give light no sa kato nga discussion nga ato ang that we had no for this morning, may you watch this two set of videos no particularly on the test method for wood no still under ASTM provisions as yeah ASTM D1037 and also both no the D1037 yapon ni second video. Okay, so I'll hope to see you on our next synchronous class, and that would be all, and thank you so much.